What we choose to feed our dogs really matters, but there's still so much confusion around what's actually included in your dog's food. So here are my 5 top tips to make sure what's written on the front of a package matches up exactly to what's included in the recipe. So the first thing most people are going to do is look at what meat protein is listed on the front of the pack. So here you can see it says turkey, and when I look on the ingredients, it literally just lists nothing but turkey, which is kind of what you'd expect. However, some foods will include something called meat and animal derivatives, which sounds quite scary, but stick with me, they're not necessarily all bad. However, what's vague about them is it won't list exactly what type of meat protein is included in that. So that can make it confusing if you have a dog with sensitivities or allergens, or if you're trying to feed an exclusion diet. Whereas a single source protein like this just keeps that all really simple and you know exactly what meat is included in the recipe. The second thing I'm looking for is the word complete. So down here at the bottom, you can see it says complete meal. That means this food meets all of the nutritional requirements that your dog needs. Another thing I'm looking for is really easy and simple contact details. So down here at the bottom, you can see it says getting in touch. That's because if you've got any questions about any foods, you want to be able to get in touch with the company's nutritionist or vet without any fuss and ask any questions that you have. The third thing you might hear people talk about is fillers. Now, fillers is a bit of a vague term, and what most people mean by that actually is cereals. Cereals can be any grain. Grain isn't necessarily that bad, but the problem with the word cereals is it's just a blanket term, so it can kind of mask what different grains might be in that food. Again, meaning you're just not sure. So rather than that, I prefer to see a whole list of vegetables and botanicals, complex carbohydrates listed really clearly so that you know exactly what's going into your dog's food. The fourth thing I want to know is what's the energy density of this food? Who is this food made for? What type of dog? What's their lifestyle? What's their age? What's their activity levels? Because all of that matters in terms of things like protein levels and the different types of vegetables that might be included. So for example, here we've got a slightly lighter recipe. It's a lower protein because it's a senior dog, so perhaps a slightly less active dog, and includes things like butternut squash, which is a lower density, energy density food than perhaps sweet potato, which might be included in some of the younger dog type recipes, and includes things like salmon oil, glucosamine, chondroitin, all really clearly listed in the ingredients. And of course, if you're not sure, you can always get in touch and ask the question of which food is going to be most suitable for your dog. And of course, the last thing is you need to know how much to feed. So on the back, we've got a really clear daily feeding guide. And what I love is this also includes information about how to mix and match if you want to feed wet and dry, staying balanced, and also within the right calorie levels for your dog. And all of that is why I choose to feed Dolly 4th grade.